Mm. Good morning this Sunday. Welcome to the Hang-Out Podcast. My name is Mwega, and this is the Mwegas Show. Now, today, nataka tuongelee kitu inaitwa Patriarchy or Patriarchy, depending na ulienda shule wapi, who was your, whether you went to kindergarten or to nursery school like myself. So mimi nitasema Patriarchy, saa zingine nikikumbuka nitasema Patriarchy. Now, I want to talk about Patriarchy. We have people walking around, especially people who believe in these humanist agendas, and they have this thing where they go around saying, smash the patriarchy, smash the patriarchy. Okay? Now, so in summary or in short, or defining patriarchy using the gender studies and gender people is basically the rule of the fathers, right? That's what they call it, the rule of the fathers. In short, in summary, the rule of the fathers. And yeah. Now, so the question is, what is wrong about the rule of the fathers? And they will bring up very, very weird positions, and let's just look at some of the things that they talk about. So now, because they call it the rule or the rule of the fathers, so this is the theory or their claim is that power is placed on the men by the society, and that's why it is bad for the society. Let me repeat that. Power is placed on the men by the society, and that's why it is bad for the society. So when somebody says that, what do they mean? They mean that they want a piece of their power, right? Now that they call it the rule of the father, so one of the ways they go around trying to convince men, because you can't just come and say, men, you have the power, so that's wrong. They have to come and paint a picture and bring up the negative. Of course, every system has its own issues. There are no perfect systems. So what they do is they will bring the flaws within the system to show how the system is bad. And one of the things they say or they use is they want to talk about how patriarchy or patriarchy is bad for men. So let's look at one of those articles that has been written. So, and this is 7 reasons why patriarchy or patriarchy is bad. So this is from the body is not an apology.com. So of course, you know, when you see some titles like those ones, these are just let's see. So this is what they say. 7 reasons why patriarchy or patriarchy is bad and feminism is good for men. So feminism. Let's look reflectiveness. As we talked about in the other article, in whatever that is, there is a certain aspect to the norms of masculinity that make men feel uncomfortable exploring certain parts of their own lives, minds, and personalities. A big aspect of upholding the norms of masculinity is that men often don't put too much effort into questioning or reflecting on such norms, let alone how their own actions affect others. Now, let me tell you why that is stupid. Let me just tell you why that is stupid. In any normal interactions with men, one of the things we know or we have to put into consideration is, let me just highlight it, how our actions actions affect others. That's one of the things that is always at the top of our mind. Not only how our actions affect others, but how our actions affect us. Let me give you an example. And this, I'm going to remove women from the conversation. Wanawake kaeni pale kando kwanza. Because when I talk about this, you will not relate. So I want to talk to men. So men, when men meet strangers or even friends, but let's talk about strangers you've never met before. When you meet and you are engaging, let's say in a social setup, there is a lot of respect around, right? Why? Because you know your actions have consequences. And when you are with men, then those consequences will come to you very fast and very brutal. Very fast and very brutal. So now, when you are engaging like that, so we learn, and that comes from the way we play as young boys. The way we play when we are play fighting and you hit somebody and they get hurt. So you already know that interactions might cause injury. So we are very careful how we interact. Generally, when I say men, I talk generally, most men, not all men. Because somebody will come and bring a stupid anecdote or a stupid example. This one person who did this thing, that one place. In general, men, we are very careful, especially in our interactions, because we learned by getting hurt and hurting others when we were playing as kids. So we know our actions have consequences, and those consequences include injury. So that is very stupid of this person. Okay, these are people who never played, number one, or were never allowed by their parents to go on and play with other boys. Now let's look at feminism. So feminism turns that idea of avoiding reflectiveness on its head. What many feminist leaders advocate for is that all, especially men, be more reflective and introspective. For what purpose? Look, the way men operate is we have a purpose. Everything we do has a result that we want. We don't do just things for the sake of doing things. Let me repeat that. Men don't do things for the sake of doing things. Everything we do has a purpose. Okay? We do things with a certain end in mind. For example, a man is taking you out to dinner or to dates. There is something he wants. And it's not the conversations that you're going to have when you're going to dinners. It's not your company that he wants. Okay? There is always an end in mind. So I'm sitting down reflecting. For what purpose? How is that reflecting going to improve my life? I've already told you that already we know that when we interact with people, our interactions have consequences. So we are already aware of that. So what more do you want men to do? To keep sitting down and moping. Men don't have time for that. That's what we have women for. To sit down and worry about all these nonsensical things. With all due respect to you women. Okay? We want to think and things that have and add value. Things that have and add value. That's what you want to be sitting down. Now imagine you found a man sitting down like 30 minutes or 2 hours just reflecting about how he got hurt by his ex. Just reflecting about how he got hurt by his ex. How his ex did him wrong. For what purpose? What value is that? She's an ex. She's the past. Okay, you can't sit the whole day reflecting and thinking. You already know what went wrong. Okay, maybe you fucked up or she fucked up. Or both of you fucked up. So what you do is you sit down, look at what did I do wrong? What could I do different? That's it. You don't keep sitting down and reflecting, and you have too many things going on in our lives to do this. Now let's look at competition. One of the negative aspects of the patriarchal norms of masculinity is the tendency for men to constantly be in competition with each other. Now this is the idiocy of the highest order. There is a hierarchy. This world is built on hierarchies. Even women compete. But men, we compete on what is important. At least most of the time. Sometimes, yes, we have a tendency to, our testosterone has a tendency to send us to hell and back, but that's the beauty of it. Now, competition. So they had to find a way to bring in competition into it. So this is the position that everybody gets a star. Everybody is a winner. No. There is only one winner. And every situation there is a winner and there is a loser. Okay? Even if we negotiate for a win-win, a win-win is a lose-lose. Okay? A win-win is not 100% win. You win some, you lose some. So it is a win-lose situation. So you decide what are you willing to lose in order to win something. And somebody else decides what they are willing to lose to win something. And so they call that win-win. But no, if I came with 100 things that I wanted fulfilled, and then another person came with another 100 things they wanted to fulfill, which are opposite of what I want fulfilled. And now we are negotiating about what is it about my demands that I can let go, and what is it about their demands that they can let go, and then what is it about my demands that they can give, and what is it about their demands that I can give. So let's say we agree on 20 on this side and 20 on their side. 20 on my side, 20 on their side. I've already lost 80, and they have already lost 80. So this is not a win-win. This is a win-lose on me, win-lose on them. Okay? So the only positive is that I did not get my 100% and they did not get their 100%. So I did not outrightly win and they did not outrightly win, but I won some, I lost most. They won some, they lost most. So there is nothing like win-win or lose-lose. All right? So the whole point of competition, when we are negotiating, it is a competition of wit. How do I outmaneuver my opponent to give me what I want? How do I place, there is this trick of negotiation where you know what you want, but you have some few outrageous demands within your demands that trigger these people. And those outrageous demands are the ones you put at the forefront. So let's say I, being a married man, I am negotiating, let's say, let's take a hypothetical couple, either married or, in a committed relationship. And the man wants to have some, BJ. But he knows that the woman he is with will not easily give in to that. So what does he demand? He demands that he given access to the exit. And to the grown-ups, mnajua anamaanisha nini. Okay, be given the first demand is the exit, right? And then the second demand is the BG. So because the exit is so outrageous, so when he's presenting that demand, So the person who is looking at the demand is like, I have this and then I have this. I don't like both, but I prefer one over the other. So what do? We come in and say, hey, look, if you remove the exit from the list, I'm going to give you the BJ. So what has the man done? The man has outmaneuvered the adversary or the opponent because of this. So that's competition. So the other person might come with also something outrageous, like the woman comes in and says, you know what? So her demands is that she wants to be taken out on a date at least twice a month. So what does she say? Or once a month. Just comes and puts on the table, you know what? Every weekend we need to be going out, or every we need to be going out every like 3 days a week. That's a demand on her part. I am feeling neglected. And so the man is, what do we do? So the woman says, I think if we planned dates at least twice or 3 times a week, maybe we can work this thing out. So the man is like, that's too expensive. So that's the first demand, 2 or 3 times a week. And then somewhere down the line, there is maybe number 3, number 4, there is, trip. Maybe go for a trip once every 3 months. A weekend getaway trip once every 3 months or a couple of months. So this man does the mathematics. So I taking this woman out on dates 3 times a week, or I taking this woman on a getaway vacation or weekend every 3 months. So what's cheaper for me? Or it might even be more expensive for him to do this thing once than do it every 3 times a week. So he'll go for, you know what, let's do the getaway. So the woman has gotten what she wanted by putting outrageous claims or demands at the top. Because the person negotiating will come and look at what are the demands and what is it that I can give. Okay. Now, that is competition. Competition doesn't just work on the field. Now, let's remove competition. So what happens? How do you get the best of the best? How? Competition is supposed to be intense. That's the whole purpose of competition. Now let's see what are other stupid things are they saying. Status quo. So it is human nature for people not to like change. Listen, if it is not broken, don't fix it. Look, if it is not broken, don't fix it. There is no system that you're going to put in place that is perfect. So you already have this system that works majority of the time. And now you want us to remove this system that works majority of the time to bring you your untested system that will probably not work majority of the time. So men have the power according to the feminists. So what is the problem with men having power? Or is the problem that because men have all the power, then women also want piece of this power? And so the only way for women power is to come and tell men that you men, you have this power. Power is important. Someone has to have the power. So if it is not the men, it has to be for the women or both. But then the question is, who says that men have all the power? Feminists say that, but they don't put any valid, convincing arguments as to why. They'll just say, look at the presidents, they are men. And then you ask, okay, who voted for the president? And like Kenya, for example, at the moment, we have more women, I think, than men, adults, if I'm not wrong. So I don't know about those who have registered for election, but let's assume that we have more women adults than men, right? So that means if women wanted a woman president, they will get a woman president, right? they still get a woman president. And if the men decided through the system of patriarchy that they are not going to put a woman candidate, so women can always end candidate and vote for their own candidate. But what happens? They vote for men overwhelmingly. And then what do feminists say? These women have internalized patriarchy, right? Yeah, it's not even your fault, women. You women are just dumb, right? That's what they say. You women are just dumb. You don't even know what is going on. These men have brainwashed you so much. It does not matter whether you like that candidate. You like that candidate because the men told you to like that candidate. So you see how feminism pretends to be empowering to women, but in reality, it is downgrading. It is looking down upon them. That women cannot just, okay, let's assume that that's internalized patriarchy. What is wrong with a woman choosing to internalize patriarchy? Feminism is about women having choices, right? The argument tumemaliza. Women also like the status quo. That's why you don't see any women out here protesting and complaining about not being allowed, or the bricklayers being majority men, or the people who work in the garbage with sewage and sewer lines being mainly men. They just want to be MPs, to be CEOs, all these fancy jobs. So they like the status quo. A woman likes what she has, what she owns in this system. She likes it. So she wants to keep it to herself, but still also go and get something else from the men and put it upon herself. So that's exactly what they mean. We like that when there is war, you men go out and fight, and we don't have to. We like that when there are programs, grants, that we get the first priority, right? So if I as a woman go and apply for a grant, I am more likely to win it. So I want to keep that. They are not saying, no, listen, we don't like the status quo. So also the status quo that benefits us, we don't want it. So all grants have to be 50-50 for men and women. So when war breaks out, we want to see women at the front lines. No, that's not what they want. They want, when war breaks out, men, you go out, fight and die. Then we be safe. Now we are women and children first. And then we go, we be rescued, we be resettled, we be supported. And then you just go and die. After the war, we are going to see who has remained. Right? So that's also another nonsensical argument. Hierarchy. Now, hierarchy, I will not even go and talk about, I will not even read what they say about hierarchy. Because now, that is how the world is founded. Even in the animal kingdom, there is a hierarchy. That's nature. Nature has hierarchy. Animals, plants, insects, all of them have hierarchies. So why wouldn't humans have hierarchies? Now, the idiocy of women is that they think that just because, or this, not all women, my apologies, not all women. When I'm talking about this, I'm talking about the feminists. So when you hear me saying women in this regard, I mean feminists. So what these feminists, they project, right? That's what they are doing. They are projecting. They are projecting because they want power. So they think that men, that the hierarchy within the humans is predicated on power and tyranny or tyranny, because that's what is in their heads. However, this system that we have, patriarchy that we have, is a system that has evolved with men. Now, let's say that we all believe in evolution, and that at one point we were single-cell organisms, and then we got from wherever we got from, came to the land, and then became whoever we became. That is the monkeys or whatever, or chimpanzees or baboons or whatever we were before we got here. You understand what I'm saying? And if you want to go, shut up. You know what I'm saying. So just pick what we were before we became Homo sapiens and put it there. So all through that process, the system has been evolving, because we've been adapting to our environment and seeing which systems work. Putting in one system fails us, the next generation puts another system, one tribe puts one system, another tribe puts one system, the system with one tribe wins when they come over to this, they take over this other tribe, they deal with them cacophoniously, they assimilate whoever they assimilate, they do away with whoever they want to do away with. So by the time we got here, patriarchy has survived for thousands and thousands of years. However, feminism has not even survived for 300 years? I don't even think it has 300 years. From the time that the concept, from the time when a woman looked up and decided, you know what, men have it best, I want to be a man. From that time, that first woman who thought that, up to now, it has not survived 300 years. And you know what? It's changing already. Now, let's look at between the 1920s and now. We already have like 5 waves of feminism. Like 5 waves within 100-year period. 150-year period, 5 waves. But we've not had, we only had patriarchy, and that's it for thousands of years. So they try this one, they see it's not getting them as much as they want, or it gets them what they want, and then they're like, no, we want more, so they bring another one, so they bring another one, they keep changing all these waves. And guess what has been standing strong through all those waves? Patriarchy. Why? Because patriarchy is competency-based power, competency-based authority, right? Competency-based power and authority. That's what the hierarchy we are using, and that's why even women support. Unlike these feminists, most women support patriarchy and the hierarchy. Even women have hierarchies within their own systems. When you see a group of 5 women and you just take time and observe them for 5 minutes, you know who is the group leader. You will know who is the group leader. That's a hierarchy. Just look at children who don't know what patriarchy is. Just look at children. When they are interacting, you know who is the gang leader there. You will know who is the one that says, let's go, and all of them follow. Or you see a child going to tell another child, we need to go to such and such place. And then this other child who's being told is the one who's going to announce to the team and say, hey guys, we are going this way. So if the children already know that if I want the group to do this, I need to talk to our leader. And if our leader agrees, then the leader will take us wherever we want to go. So that's hierarchy for you. Let's continue. Ignorance. Let's see what this is. Although the patriarchy benefits all men in one way or another, this is the stupidest piece of shit I've ever read. It doesn't support all men in the same way. Listen, there is no system that supports everyone the same way. There is no system that supports anyone the same way. Hakuna. So that's like saying, you know what? If you eat proteins, that means that you won't get carbs. So what you should do is you stop eating proteins and eat carbs. So if I eat carbs, will they contain proteins? So why should I care about missing out carbs and not care about missing out proteins? Because if I choose one system, I am giving up one set of weaknesses for another set of weaknesses. Why should I give up this kind of weaknesses and embrace these weaknesses? That's already a stupid argument, just from the get-go. I don't even need to go further. Yeah, this one, rape culture. Now, listen, there is nothing like rape culture. Listen to the way this idiot is saying. There is no logical or reasonable way to deny that we live in a society that perpetuates rape and rape culture. Where does this idiot live? Who you wanna issue up? This is why these systems are so stupid. These things that they try to push. That's why it is so stupid. Because of the claims that these people are putting forth, they are so idiotic. They are so stupid. They are so out of this. They are so outrageous. It is crazy that anyone can take them seriously. Where? Apart from some very few ultra-religious extremists, and even those nations have laws against rape. What do you mean? Rape culture. A culture is something that is acceptable to the wider members of the society as the thing to do. Every fucking person, not every fucking person, every fucking person with a brain that is working well. Let's put the psychos and the people with mental health issues and people with criminals who just want to do bad. Every person who has a working brain, even that criminal knows what they are doing is wrong because it has been criminalized. That's it. So we don't live in a rape culture. And that's why when you read some of these articles and you see these idiotic things, if they can be so blatantly disingenuous and lie in this manner on this particular issue, what else are they lying about in all the issues they are discussing? And because of that, hapo ndo mali nimefika kwa hii story, because once somebody just says we live in a rape culture, I'm like, no, idiot, go have your own commune somewhere, go find an island somewhere and live there, because you're fucking idiot. Hapo ndo tumefikisha hiyo story. That's where we end that story. Because we are not going to continue with idiocy. Let's look at the system that they want to I don't like Merriam-Webster.com. Excuse me. But let's use it for this one. Let's see if I can find a better definition for because they have like 1,000,001 meaning for the word egalitarian. So this is what they want to change patriarchy. They even stopped talking about feminism. So they want us to deal with egalitarianism. Let's just look at what does that mean. Let's just look at this one and see if we can pick up some. A minute. Let's pick dictionary.com and let's just to my little nice story. So let's see what egalitarianism is. So asserting, resulting from, or characterized by belief in the equality of all people, especially in the political, economic, or social life. Especially in the political, economic, and social life. Now, egalitarianism is the belief of equality, just to put it clearly. Equality and this other animal they call equity. Let's talk about equality. So belief in the equality of all people. So that's a belief, right? Believe that all people are equal. Now, we have to be real. We have to be real. We are all not equal. And it is that belief that all people are equal that brings the issues of equity. That because everyone is not equal, then we need to put in measures that are going to make those who are not equal to be equal. But the question is, equal to what, to who? Now let's say that we are talking about equality under the law or policies. That's very good on paper. But then remember that the laws are never clear. So if anyone says the law is very clear, those people are lying. Because if the law was clear, then we wouldn't need courts. The court system to interpret the law. And even one court interprets a law one way, and then a higher court says, no, the interpretation of this law as done by such and such a court was wrong. This is the correct application or interpretation of this law. So the law is never clear. So you cannot say, I believe that you can equalize everybody in law. Because the law, as we have seen, is not clear. It has to be interpreted. And who is interpreting this law? A human being is interpreting this law. Or human beings are interpreting this law. And human beings will be in front of a judge arguing for their interpretation as the correct one. And some of them, their interpretation are totally opposite to the other. Like let us look at this statement, which does not make any logical sense. Trans women are women. If they are trans women, then they cannot be women because they are trans women. Right? That is why there was a need to put the word trans in front of the word women. So if you say trans women are women, you're making a logical fallacy. Okay? It does not make logical sense to say trans women are women. Because saying women are women is redundant. Because we know women are women. So you saying women are women is stupid. So if trans women are women, so what you're saying is women are women, which is nonsensical, even if you say it out loud. So women are women. Of course, women are women. What else would women be if not women? So, but you say trans women are women. So taking one category and wanting it to be the same as this other category. And it cannot be because this is a different category and this is a different category. So you can say trans women and women are humans. That is an overall category. So trans women and women deserve dignity and all those things, which is okay. But then you can't say trans women are women. Because trans women are a separate category, women are a separate category. Just the same way I cannot say girls are women. No. You're either a girl or a woman. You cannot say girls are women. Even if at some point a woman was a girl. But when she became a woman, she stopped being a girl. So a woman cannot be a girl. So, let's talk about equality under the law. Or what they call equality of opportunities. There is nothing like equality of opportunities. Let me give you a very simple example. This is a Kenyan setup, Kenyan setting. If you don't know Kenya, go Google the map of Kenya with all the provinces and sub-counties and counties and all those other shenanigans within. Let's say I run a project in Lodwar. I think Lodwar is in Turkana County. And I am looking for a project manager. And so I advertise for a project manager. So that's an equal opportunity for everyone, right? But the moment I put that now, let's start here. I have a job opening, but I want to tell people I have a job opening. I can't put an advert everywhere. I can't put it on all TV stations, all radio stations, all print media, and all social media handles. I cannot. So I have an opportunity that is open for anyone. But then, this is where inequality starts to come in. I have to select where to publish that vacancy advert. So if I decide to put it in the Daily Nation, then people who read the Daily Nation will see it, but those people who read the Standard will not see it. It was not intentional. I did not want to sideline Standard readers. I don't care about Standard readers. I just decided, you know what, Nation have a better deal for this advertisement. Or I look at Nation and Standard and decide, you know what, probably the Standard has more audience reach than Nation, so I put it on the Standard. So once I put it on the Standard, that means I've already sidelined everybody else who reads any other paper apart from the Standard. So already inequality has started to come in. The only way that I can mitigate these inequalities if I can afford to advertise in all newspapers, including the vernacular ones. But we all know no one has all those resources. So that's where inequality comes in. Very simple. I have a job opening that anyone. Now, even before I go to advertise, I have to decide what roles is this person going to play. I have a vacancy for a project manager or a project officer. So not everyone can be a project officer. So there are certain qualifications I'm looking for in a project officer or a project manager. So anyone else who does not have those qualifications has already been sidelined. So that's not an equal opportunity for everyone. It's only an equal opportunity for everyone who has these specific qualifications. Such is life. So egalitarianism is dead on arrival. Dead on arrival. And I've not even gone into the genders. It's just basic educational qualifications. Because I have to put the job description. This person with education level such, with a degree in such and such fields, who has this such work experience. So by every qualification I put in place, sidelines a group of people. So let's say I have 100 people who have this qualification, this educational qualification. Then I want somebody with a certain number of years work experience. So in that group, I've already sidelined a number of people. And then I also put something like who has worked with children, for example. I've already sidelined another group. All these people are already in this category who have this degree, this education qualification that I want. But with every qualification that I put in place, everything that I say I am looking for, I am sidelining people. I am including some and excluding some. So that's why egalitarianism is dead on arrival. Just on the basic level. And we've not even talked about men and women. So basically, it's already sidelining people. All right? So, I can believe in the equality of people all I want, but the reality on the ground is that the situations are going to, the reality, the real world is going to tell me otherwise. Let's say after everything that has gone as I've put in place in terms of qualifications, I shortlist 3 people. Let's not even care about the agenda. And let's not even care whether they are men or women or all or none. Now, the vacancy is in Lodwar. So one of the persons shortlisted, now the interviews are going to happen in a week's time. In a week's time. I have someone who is qualified, who has been shortlisted, who lives in Lodwar and is poor. I have another person who has been shortlisted, who lives in Nairobi and is poor. I have another person who has been shortlisted, who lives in Nairobi and is is wealthy or from a wealthy family. Now, in that scenario, who do you think is more likely to miss out on the in-person interviews? The person who is most likely going to miss out on the in-person interviews is the poor person in Nairobi. Because the poor person in Lodwar, it's within their their locality. So they can find a way. And the wealthy person from Nairobi can afford to get on a plane, go to Lodwar for even a few days prior and after, and spend money and get there, enjoy the environment, go to the interview, dress very well, go to the interview, get out of the interview, relax, take a few days in Lodwar, and then fly back to Nairobi. Or if they have been shortlisted and they are qualified and they pass the interview, then they can be informed that now, how soon can you come to work? And they say, give me a week because I'm in Nairobi to shift. And it's done. So these three people qualified, these three people are shortlisted. But because of their economic situation, and all of us cannot be at the same level economically. Never. There will always be the ultra rich, there will also be the rich, there will also be the middle class, the not so rich, the ones who are pretending to be rich, the ones who look rich but are not rich, then the poor, and then the poor of the poor. Unfortunately, that is life. That's where hierarchy comes in. If everybody was rich, then everybody will not. Let's say if everybody was a millionaire, then the word millionaire would have no value. But right now, everyone wants to be a millionaire and a billionaire and a multi-billionaire. Why? Because of the value. If somebody hears, I am a billionaire, there is a certain level of value that class puts on this person. I am a millionaire. I am working so hard to make my first million. I am working on my other millions. I want to be a multi-millionaire. Those words have value. That's why they are there. That's why I say if everybody was beautiful, then beautiful will be average. If everybody was beautiful, then beautiful will be average. And if we don't like average, and now beautiful has become average, nobody will want to be beautiful. So let's stop with these word games. I know this channel sometimes we talk about very, very, very heavy things, and maybe some people just want to come to YouTube and laugh and listen and see people doing nonsense. But it is my belief that some people like myself, I go to YouTube. Yeah, sometimes I go to YouTube to watch the goofy stuff, but sometimes I want to go to YouTube to learn, to listen to arguments, to listen to well thought out, articulated arguments, to think, even if they are not well thought out or well articulated, but arguments that I'm like, I never thought about that. That is something new. Because it's about the learnings, about learning. Okay? Now, another thing about egalitarianism and equality and why we cannot be equal is because we have things we call rights, right? And once you have rights don't have value if they are not enforced. Let me bring myself back to full screen. Rights don't hold value if they are not enforced. There has to be enforcement. So let's say we are equal under the law. What happens if I break the law? There has to be some way of enforcing the law, right? Just a minute. There has to be a way of enforcing the law. If somebody somewhere enforcing the law. Now, and this is not my argument. I did not come up with this. This is something which I I first heard from Andrew Wilson of The Crucible. Go follow his channel. Go subscribe to his channel. Very good channel where they have debates. Interesting. I love debates. Now, rights. What happens if I decide to violate somebody else's right? There has to be an enforcement mechanism. And that enforcement mechanism is the one that will force me, even if I don't want, but I know that there will be somebody enforcing. So that is the one that will make me to give these people whatever right they have or they are demanding. Why? Because there is enforcement, right? Because of the enforcement bit. Now, women cannot enforce anything. They cannot enforce anything. And this is an example that Andrew gives, and probably I will butcher it, but go listen to his debates, especially with feminists, and just type The Crucible or Andrew Wilson versus feminists or something on the search bar, and you will find some of those things. So let's say women, being the majority voters, have voted in a woman president, right? And they have voted in women legislatures 100%, because democracy, baby, right? If you get the votes, you get the seat. So, president, a woman. 100% of the legislature, women. And then they deal even with the court system and everything. So now we are in a matriarchy or a matriarchy. And then the women with their president, now let me not call their president. So the women with their president, I know I've triggered a few people. The women with the president decide to say, all male CEOs to be fired and replaced with female CEOs. All male CEOs to be fired and replaced with all female CEOs. Just passed in parliament, so it is law, right? So they have the president, they have the legislature, and they have the court. So it means I, as one of the CEOs who's been fired, I cannot go to court and claim whatever, because number one, it is lawful, and number two, I'm going to meet women seated on these benches who will most often than not throw out that case. Aye? Good. Now, when they've done all that, the men just sit and say, no, not happening. It's not happening. So other men in the companies refuse. The men in the police force, all men, 100% of the men say, no, not happening. So how are they going to enforce that law? So if they send orders to the police force, because the police are the ones who enforce the law, to the police to go and possibly remove male CEOs, and then the police are like, women, this is your thing, you go. The women police have gone, right? And then when they get there, they find that, you know what, the males have hired private male security, armed security, to stand on the at the door and say, no, not happening. So these police women come and they are there, they're like, excuse me, you can't get in. So they find men who are well armed. And probably they will find some of their colleagues have been hired. The men now have been hired by men to come and protect the men. What happens? So they come, they're like, no, you can't get in. So what happens? Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Why? Because 9 times out of 10, if this female policeman decide to go one-on-one with these male security agents who are as armed as they are or better armed, then they will lose. So yeah, they'll have very good laws. They'll say there'll be no male CEOs. But they cannot enforce their rights. So they still need men to enforce their rights. So if, in fact, it is the men who give them their rights. Because if men decided as a collective, let's take this hypothetical situation in this hypothetical world. Because I know women don't operate on hypotheticals. They have a difficult time. You know, all those 2 things that are running, just tell them to shut up for a minute and just imagine that this is real. For whatever reason, imagine this is real. That you cannot enforce anything on your own. You need men. That, you know, these things you keep talking about that we fought for our rights. Please, somebody tell me, where was the battle? Who were the armies? How many people did you lose? What were the casualties? How many people were maimed? Tell us. This fight for equality, where did it happen? Where? In what battlefield? In which country? What is the date? What were the armies? Who are the members of the armies? Who was the general? So you put forth an argument to the men as to why you thought that you should go to work or why you should vote. And then men sat and said, you know what? Yeah, that makes sense. So even the rights you have today were given by men. And if men wanted to still take them back. That's why I told you, let's just hypothetical situation that all men just sat down and thought, you know what, this women going to work thing, it's not working. So from today, no woman goes to work. In that hypothetical world where all men just agreed on that, no woman would go to work. No, 0 women would go to work. Why? Their father will be against it. Their brother will be, husband will be against it. Their work colleagues will be against it. That's it. And they can't force themselves. So end up they go to the job, they find there is somebody at the door saying, nah, you're a woman, go back home. A man get in, you're a woman, go. What will they do? What will they? Nothing. They will scream, they will do, nothing will happen. And when they scream, then policemen come and arrest them. Because policemen can't do shit. They are not working. They are not at work. It's policemen who are coming in and arresting them. And then they are going to find male judges. And then when they find male judges, and the witnesses will be their own husbands and brothers and fathers, and they're like, this woman is hard-headed. We told her, she decided she's not going to do it. So please do what you need to do with her. In that hypothetical world. However, in today's world where men are being demonized every day, every other day, men granted women their rights. Men are the ones who come in and enforce these women's rights. Yes, women are the ones who are being blamed for every other thing. So if your husband boxes you, it is probably, you think a woman will come in, atapigwa. Now that we are past the 1 hour mark, Let's do why. Why do I support patriarchy and the hierarchical or hierarchical world order hierarchy? Number one, patriarchy is the one that got us to where we are today. That's a fact. That's not something even we can sit down and argue. You know, when we were living in caves, how do you think we got from caves to being in the modern world? You having that device you're watching this YouTube from. It is the men. Men got us here. Do you like your life? Do you like science? Do you like medicine? Do you like the device you're using? Do you like the house you live in? Do you like the car you're driving? Do you like that things work? Do you just like that things work? Well, that is thanks to patriarchy. Patriarchy is the one that designed all that. Patriarchy is the one that came up with that. Patriarchy is the one that made that possible for you. Do you like your rights and privileges? Patriarchy is the one that gave you that. All those women rights. That's patriarchy for you. All this development you see, planes, all those metal tubes flying in the air, and all those being huge tonnage of metals floating on the ocean. Yeah. Patriarchy did that. Now, that's the first one. The second one, patriarchy is founded on competence. Unlike feminism or egalitarianism, which is after power and dominance. That I explained when I was talking about that stupid article. Also, men are generally benevolent with power. That's why men had all the powers to tell women, no, you're not voting. We are good with the way things are. We are good with voting. No, you're not going to work. We like what the way the world is. You can't work. No, you cannot listen. All the technology that has helped women over the ages have been designed primarily or majorly or to a large extent by men. Look at the contraceptive pill, a man. Look at, what is it called? A washing machine, a man. Ya kuosha vyombo, men. Even in Kenya, the men decided that since women could not compete with men for political positions, to give them the women rep position, that only women can come in and compete. So women, we are very benevolent with power. Why? Because our power is predicated on competency. So I am competent, that's why I'm powerful. I am competent, that's why I am in a position of power. Because I not only have to prove to women, I also have to prove to other men that I am capable. Now, there is a reason for that. A big majority of women don't even like female bosses. Just ask. Even those stout feminists, most of them don't like their female bosses. They will prefer to, if if they were not so deranged, if they didn't just look at men as these evil people, and women just got a pass, Yeah, I know you have a shitty female boss, but you know what? It's the trauma. It's because she needs to prove herself to other men. That's why now she has to be this. No, she's just a bitch. That's what she is. She's just being a bitch. And if women could just call it for what it is, they'll just say, no, I am a feminist, but not here. I need to have a work environment that is not toxic. And you, woman, you're making my work toxic. However, a feminist would rather have a toxic female boss than have one of the most laid-back male bosses ever. Now, also, there's a time I read somewhere, and it's US, especially GBV, that lesbian relationships are the most violent in terms of physical violence. It's something I read, I think, early this year or late last year. Now, somebody will come and say that's internalized patriarchy. I'm like, where? These are two women in a relationship. But that is if men are more aggressive on average, right? And so you would expect that gay relationship, that man and man relationship, will be the most violent. But then you look at the stats and actually it's the lesbian. So women, why does that happen? Because one of those women is in a position of power and authority. And some women, when they are given power and authority, they will dominate. They are going to dominate, and not dominate in a positive way, because listen, dominance has two spheres. I want to dominate my field of expertise. I want to be the top of the top. That's positive. But then I don't want to, when now you are hurting people, using power to hurt people, that's the wrong dominance. And that's what some of these lesbians are doing. So if you women, when you have this small power, you do that, what makes you think that there are men who, when they have power, will not do the same? It's not a sex thing. It is a people thing. It's a person thing. It's a mindset thing. Also, women, mothers, are the ones who abuse their kids the most. If you look at the stats, child abuse perpetrators, the ones who are the higher rate of the women, mothers, the rate. And you cannot say it's because women are spending so much time with their kids. Listen, even in those nations where men also we have stay-at-home fathers, women still dominate. So you'd expect, because men are more aggressive and they are more prone to violence, that once a man becomes a house husband, they are going to terrorize their kids. No. In fact, if you have stats to contradict this, a house husband, the kids have so much fun with a house husband, being raised by a house husband, than being raised by a housewife. Because men, we are good like that. We dominate all spheres that we come in. That's why even men are now dominating women's sports. Because we are what we are. Now, only men, also, now the last one, only men can check other men. Because a man can meet violence for violence, and a man can meet peace for peace. So I have an issue with you. You want us to throw blows? Let's go. Or you want us to talk it out? Let's talk it out. Can go either way. So men check other men. That's why patriarchy wins every time. That's why the society was not stupid when it designed, when it It modeled the world under the patriarchy system because it works. Now, patriarchy works. That's why you cannot show me now a modern matriarchal society which has existed for the last 100 years. You see some idiot saying, somewhere in the Amazon, somewhere in Africa, just show us one. That is, and when I say matriarchy, I don't mean that they have a woman president or a woman chief or a woman whatever head of state. I mean, the head of state is a woman. Majority of the armed forces is women. Actually, women taking top positions, and a majority of the armed forces is women. And a majority of the legislature is women. Show me. You cannot. Why? Because in this world, only the strong survive. And you may want to, you may do cartwheels, you can even throw tantrums, you can go sit across roads and protest. But men, when it comes to aggression, when it comes to physical force, men dominate. But you have a very peaceful world. So you see some videos saying about Russia and Ukraine. Listen, how many states are at war now? Internally and externally, how many? Then how many are at peace? Let's use peace. Like we are not in a state of war. How many? So you're going to tell me that out of probably 150 states, that just because 10 or 20 of them have issues, that now the world is burning? A fucking idiot. Anyway, that has been the Hang-Out Podcast. And I wanted to do this last week, but I lost my phone. So I was stressed out, and yeah. Here we are. This is what we did. Thank you very much for those who are going to watch after the fact. Comment. Tell us your thoughts. Tell us what you think about the show. Your thoughts are important. If you disagree, comment with your disagreement. If you haven't subscribed, what is stopping you from subscribing? So you can also tell me that. Probably I'm not presenting to you the kind of content you're looking for. So if you can comment with the kind of content you're looking for. However, this is not a fun channel. We just want to highlight serious things, but of course you are going to do it in a light-hearted manner. Those who are going to be triggered will be triggered either way. So we're talking about serious issues, but in a non-serious manner, because at the end of the day, enjoy life. So we've been here today. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, share. See you in the next one.